Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Tuesday, January 30th, 2024. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Here's a look at the daily time frame. The previous session here in the last hour, we got a big pop on news. Got us outside of the narrow range here. Still upward sloping narrow range, but the expectation again ahead of Wednesday's FOMC statement and rate decision is that we likely stay mostly range bound here today. Now, any rejection here, the previous highs, which is already kind of occurring, could open up a bit of a pullback as deep as the previous session's midpoint. But even if we do pull back that deep, we could see responsive bulls defend and push things back up to close the day higher off the lows and somewhere near the middle of the range. Perhaps we get a day something like this here that plays out as the market continues to hold ahead of Wednesday's FOMC. And we could see volatility late Wednesday into Thursday and especially Friday with NFP on deck as well. Right now, upward sloping price action right here as price continues to work its way higher toward 5,000, which is the next key market structure edge from the 46 below. Once we do reach that level, we could see a backfill into the major market distribution below, but until then, any pullback could be a buying opportunity until proven otherwise. Taking a look here at the NQ, similar price action here, but this one stayed within the range of last week's high and low. You can see last week's high here, last week's low there, and we're still in the narrow range, developing now a 7-day narrow range. Again, keeping an eye on the previous session's highs, we could see a bit of a pullback into the previous session's midpoint. Even if we do see a pullback that deep, expect bulls to come in, defend, and keep things in the range as this market continues to build energy ahead of Wednesday's event. This market also continues to trend up, and the next key level above 18K in sight right now. We also have clear air above right here as this market continues to work its way higher. Now, any pullback could still be a buying opportunity, as we mentioned before, especially into next month. Next month will be Thursday, and any pullback into the higher value relationship, even as deep as 1700 or 17K rather, could be a buying opportunity as this market continues to see checkmark movement higher. The first checkmark move of the year was down into the previous month's mid, and then higher. Next month could be very similar as this market continues to show quite a bit of strength. If we take a look here at crude oil, this one's down about 1% here today. Quite a bit of selling pressure the previous session and dropping fairly heavy into the previous session's midpoint and below it. Today, keeping an eye on 76s here and keeping an eye on the previous session's low. Any rejection of these prices could open up a pushback into the previous session's mid. As of right now, there are no signs of rejection. This market's still showing weakness here into the previous week's midpoint, which is going to be 75.44. But if price is able to recover back above the previous session's low, that could open up an opportunity to fade it back up a bit as this market continues to show quite a bit of strength. Overall, we could get a pullback as deep as 74s, perhaps next month, and that could be bought for another attempt at 80 up above. So keeping it on the previous session's low, if we can get a good rejection here, there could be a fade back up today. Shy of that, we're still finding that low. But again, look at this 8-period average right here, rising very quickly up above. It's crossed back above the 55 long period. It's crossed back above the 2 shorter periods, and any pullback into that cushion could provide strength for another move higher in February. Now, keeping a look here at the gold chart. Now, this one has shown quite a bit of strength here. Has bounced off of the 2,000 level, or just shy of 2,000, is back up into the range, gap up on the rollover here. I've mentioned before that this one is kind of stuck in the range right now. Doesn't really have a lot of great rhyme or reason. It had a very clear downward trend, but a very modest downward trend, and now here back up to 2050. 2050 is kind of the major edge, to be honest. Obviously, the 2080 level up here was important for rejection. Prices above 2100 were important for rejection, but 2050 is kind of the edge. 1850 would be the middle. 1650 would be the lower edge. So Right now, keeping an eye on how prices respond above this zone, but any pullback into this area has been sold so far to begin the year. Expecting, again, price to continue to meet resistance here at some point and perhaps rotate lower. We still haven't tested an edge of the key range. The closest edge is going to be the lower portion of this range, as this high right here is a major day one rejection. Not anticipating that level on being hit anytime soon. So again, any rotation back into 2070, for example, likely to be met with resistance as bears continue to defend the long-term edge. But right now, stuck in the middle and not really showing a whole lot of rhyme or reason at this moment. Now, taking a look here at the YM, this one sitting on new all-time highs, has developed a very clear narrow range for the most part here that has been in play for now about 6 weeks. Yesterday's price action pushed us out of the range a bit, and we're now holding within a very narrow range right now, just 80 total points of range. 80 total points. It's been averaging 339 on a 10 and 302 on a 5. So this is very, very narrow. Expecting a little bit of a pullback into yesterday's range, and then perhaps responsive bulls to come back in and keep things mostly range bound here today ahead of Wednesday's Fed. Again, very clear upward trending price action in the bullish PIMA trigger zone. I mentioned before that I'm watching for signs of some sort of expanding range here, but we just haven't seen any kind of swing selling pressure, at least not yet. So again, keeping an eye on the latter part of the week for increased volatility. Even as of right now, any pullback could still be a buying opportunity up ahead. Looking into next month, you can see next month's midpoint as of right now is 37,900. Any pullback into that zone could still be defended. A failure there, and you're rotating back down. And again, that would create an expanding range of some sort. So right now, very compressed and in a holding pattern ahead of late week action Wednesday through Friday. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out here heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.